Hello everyone. So this is the daily analysis of the Hindu for the 13th of January 2017, presented to you by me, Dipanshu Singh. Well, if you wish to read more about me, you can go through this slide. You can also follow me on Academy on this link, and do rate and review the course and recommend each and every video. So the practice question for today is: which of the following issues the Global Gender Gap report periodically? A, World Bank; B, OECD; C, World Economic Forum; or D, United Nations? And the answer for yesterday's question is Gujarat. And post your answers below without googling. Well, if you want to google, you can do that, but then do go back to this question and revise the concepts. And the national page news is the first one, is regarding the election commission asked the state government to and the central government to actually remove the prime minister photo from the hoarding. So election commission actually wrote to cabinet secretary to remove the prime minister's hoarding from petrol pumps in poll bound states, specifically in this reference for the state of Goa, and gas consumer certificates from Uttarakhand, because this is not permissible under the Model Code of Conduct. And EC has time and again reiterated that government and government advertisements on political functionaries and parties actually violates the Model Code of Conduct. And Delhi has been finally declared of bird flu. So if you remember last year, H5N8 virus, that is the avian influenza, spread across in Delhi Zoo. So human infections are basically primarily acquired through direct contact with the infected animals or contaminated environments, but they generally are not a result of the efficient transmission of these viruses between people. And there is no evidence that confirms that the avian or zoonotic influenza viruses can actually infect humans through properly improper cooked food. And there are also three types of influenza viruses: type A, B, and C. Influenza A viruses infect humans and many different animals. The type B viruses only circulate among humans and cause seasonal epidemics. And finally, the influenza C viruses can infect both humans and pigs, but infections are generally mild and are rarely reported. The next bit of news is from the complaint related to mechanism to hear complaints about broadcasting of content in TV and radio. So the Supreme Court has actually asked the government to set up a complaint redressal mechanism under the Cable TV Networks Regulation Act to deal with the citizens' complaint about the content telecast or aired by the private channels and radio. But also, the Supreme Court has refused to pass any judicial orders which directs the government to monitor content aired or telecast, since it goes against the principles of freedom of expression and mentioned under the Article 19(1)(a) of the Constitution of India. And Supreme Court has also cleared that it cannot ask for monitoring of channels, and the Supreme Court can be approached only after something objectionable has been aired and not directly. And Supreme Court was also hearing the plea made by NGO Common Cause, which sought the court a response from Centre on allowing private and community FM channels from broadcasting news like the television. Because in India, generally dissemination of news and current affairs programs on radio remains monopoly of government-owned broadcasters like All India Radio or Akashvani. So we look at the additional info regarding these. So Press Council of India, which was created by PCI Act of 1978, it is an apex body for regulation of press in India, and it enjoys independence from government and acts as a regulator for broadcasting content and complaints council, which is in itself an independent regulatory body for non-news general entertainment channels set up by IBF in 2011. And the National, that is a News Broadcasting Standards Authority, NBSA, is an independent body set up by the News Broadcasters Association, headed by eminent jurists. So the next news is about Right to Education Act. So the Niti Aayog panel has asked for the review of the Right to Education Act, because presently the children enrolled in the government schools cannot be held back, and there is a no detention policy in the same class till class 8. So this was basically introduced to check the increasing dropout rates of children and decline in gross enrollment ratio of children in schools. Since it leads to demoralization, and also due to this a lot of children withdraw from schools, and therefore there's an increase in dropout rates. And Niti Aayog said that the original intention behind the norm was good, but it is detrimental to the learning process. So this original intention was not doing any good, because a lot of children cannot recognize even a letter or word, and they cannot even do simple calculation of class 2nd or 3rd, which also goes and takes away the pressure of learning and competing. So if you look at the Article 21(a), it says that the state shall provide free and compulsory education to all the children of the age of 6 to 14 years in such a manner as the state may by law determine. And Article 15(1)(a)(k), which is also mentioned in the Constitution, says that it is a parent or a guardian need to provide opportunities for education to his child, or as the case may be, and the ward between the age of 6 and 14 years. And UGC has a list journal for grading academic points. So they have introduced an API system which is counted for promotion and also for application for teaching jobs in UGC. So it contains 30 points for book publication brought by international publishers, 20 points for national publisher, and 15 points for publishing article in referred journals, and 10 points for other reputed journals. So the issues of the paid publications, and substandard publications for the personal gains and accumulation of API points. So the solution which is given by UGC is that they are coming out with compilation of approximately 38,000 journals that will be recognized for awarding API points, and UGC will also update the list from time to time. And other bit of news, this particular issue is in news from quite a few days, and this is regarding Jallikattu ban. So the Supreme Court has said that the ban on Jallikattu will stay. And last year, a central notification actually tried to circumvent this order of Supreme Court and reintroduce the bulls into the fold of performing animals under the Prevention of Cruelty Against Animals Act of 1960, thereby giving an indirect nod to Jallikattu, to which the court actually has termed as an act of inherent cruelty. And the apex court also stayed on the notification of plea by the animal welfare activist and refused to lift the stay on government's notification for Pongal celebrations. So we look at the additional info regarding this. There have been discovery of rock paintings in Kotagiri district of Tamil Nadu that dates back to approximately 3000 to 1500 BC, which depicts some sort of bull taming practice in caves which are carried out by early settlers of Nilgiris. Which, according to historians, shows that the practice was transferred to Jallikattu, but there's still no direct evidence for this. And compassion towards animal has also mentioned is also mentioned in the Constitution under Article 51 AG, as well as in Directive Principles of State Policy of 48 under Article 48A, though not directly though. And the last bit of news is from the business page, where the FICCI has asked infrastructure spending should be raised in budget. So they have said that they've actually asked for central to prioritize spending on infrastructure. Suggestion has been coming in the backdrop of the cash crunch post demonetization and the subdued demand and fall in investments. And they've also suggested that considering India's huge need for investment in infrastructure in the coming decade, the government should actually consider setting up funds similar to the NIF with other nations as co-investors. So this can be a good move, tackling the issue of demand crunch and funding infrastructure projects in India. So this is it for today, guys. Not much in today's newspaper apart from major editorials, which have been covered in the other video and the course on editorials of newspapers and the Hindu. So do watch that one as well. And till next video, have a good day and thank you so much.